The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? Here we go. All right, mentorship moments. Each one teach one. You know, we're back again, and to my fans over here on live streaming on Facebook, they get to see this all over again. I'm loving this. This is fun. All right, so here we go. Let's start with a read, then we're going to get right to it, okay? We are talking about the stress of 2020. The stress of 2020. And yeah, we're here to talk about it. And not just any old kind of stress. We're talking about chronic stress, y'all. We can all say we are officially going through it. Yes. I'm going through it too. All right. Let's talk about some chrono events that may have affected you or not, but I guarantee you I've hit on something. The death of Kobe Bryant. Man, I'm still like tripping off that. You know, the COVID pandemic, the economy, the death of George Floyd, the social unrest, our first responders caught in the middle of all of it, especially our law enforcement taking the heat now. Shouts out to those guys. I mean, they are taking it. The current presidency, whether you like it or not, it's taken an effect. This election, the post-election resistance, the parties, the protests, our jobs. Oh my God, it's just out of control. 2020 has put all of our bodies in a scramble with no way out of this mess. It just seems like when we get over something and we're able to breathe, boom, something else happens. We have been hit with one event after another. How does this directly affect our bodies from a coach and a trainer's perspective? Let me share this with you. Elevated heart rates, constant adrenaline dumps, weight gain, weight loss. Tell me if you guys are experiencing these things. And I got you guys on Facebook Live. What's up, John Romero? Oh, that's one of my mentors. Overeating, depression. How do we heal? How do we deal? I brought the backup as always. We are talking about the stress of 2020. Let's talk about it. Mentorship.
Sometimes you just gotta make it happen. Gonna make it happen. Gonna make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. Just make it happen.
Well, guys, we are back, and this is Mentorship Moments. Each one teach one. We're talking about stress, and this is the 4th episode. Man, I'm still here. They haven't got rid of me yet. You mean they haven't yanked me out of the studio yet? I ain't going nowhere, right? Now, as long as we keep putting out this good content, it's on and cracking. You know, before we get started, I'd like to give some healthy shots out to some very deserving people. First, let's talk about Happy Veterans Day to our veterans, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. That's coming up tomorrow. You guys deserve it. The stuff you guys bled and died for to keep our freedoms, I appreciate. Trust me, I do. I appreciate you guys for what you guys do. Many did not have the courage to do it, or we chose other paths, but you guys did the hard work. I'm proud of you. Shouts out to Alex Stewart. That's one of my jiu-jitsu private instructors. I love this guy. Shouts out to Lynette Jones of New Day Talk Radio. She's the one that got my first start ever in talk shows, and I'm very proud of. Aren't you proud of where I've come, Lynette? I know you're watching. God bless you. Let's talk about birthdays. My guest today, Dr. Natasha Nelson, just had a birthday in October, so I'm going to throw her in there since she's a guest. But this is all about the Scorpios. This is all about November. Shouts out to Kelvin Gamble, my brother, my partner at CJ's Function Fitness, K-Flash Custom Fitness. That's my brother. First Lady Maisha Cheney of Antioch Church. You guys are awesome. God bless you guys for the spiritual messaging you bring to encourage me. Coach E, Eric Knowles of Ultimate Transformation, and he's also on KJLH. That's my brother. We've done some things in the past that have been incredible for the community, and he's still doing it. What a legend. Johnny Drummer, my boy back in high school. My twin brother, Dion Joseph. Yes, we have birthdays coming up very soon. Diana Red. Oh, can't wait to have her on the show. Show's going to be called Starting from the Bottom. Now we're here. You want to hear from this young lady's story. And now let's slow it down a little bit so I can give this person proper respects. Put this fine woman on the screen, please. Thank you. This here is my wife, Eva Joseph. Now, for those of you on Facebook Live, you can also watch on Morris Media Live to get the whole studio effect to see my wife in all of her glory. MorrisMediaLive.com. I have been with this woman for 31 years, married to her for 23 years, and she still kept me unbelievable. Well, not unbelievable. She kept all this sexy. No, I'm just playing. No. Eva Joseph, I want to thank you for what you've done personally. Happy anniversary. I know the pandemic has taken a lot away from us from what we really wanted to do. And when this is over, my baby, I promise you, I'm going to make it right. But thank you, number one, for just being a great mother to my kids, allowing me to do what I do. Here, we're going to take over the world, and you're going to reap the rewards of it. I promise. I love you. Eva Joseph, that woman is fine, y'all. You can look, but don't look too long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Mentorship Moments, each one, teach one. Guys, here we go. We are talking about the stress of 2020, all right? And, I brought along some backup, because I can't do all this alone. Just me talking, throwing out my credibility just isn't enough. I got to bring backup. So the backup I brought is the life doctor, Natasha Nelson. She is a life doctor, dancing consulting firm, also Inside Out Wellness. She is a master in spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica. She has a degree in chiropractic at the Palmer Chiropractic College, 22 years in the wellness industry, and I've witnessed her greatness in some of my community programs. Also, the author of the book, Finding the Courage to Let You Out. She's also, y'all, a former professional volleyball player, y'all. She is 6'2", and like I said, don't take this wrong, Eva. Don't beat me up. Of pure bronze, golden goddessness, and that's about as far as I go. Boom, I'm a professional. Ladies and gentlemen, the life doctor herself, she's back. Doctor, I got her giggling. Natasha Nelson. We only have one person in the audience.
CJ,
Hey,
CJ.
what's going on? What's going on, man? It's so good to see you. We've been at this for years, haven't we?
We have, and I've missed you, but I do have to correct one thing in your intro about me.
Okay.
I am only 5'10".
Did I say? I said 6'2", huh? You know what? It was the day on your book signing when I saw you on heels. You were about 6'2" easily. Oh my God. She's amazing. I mean, altogether, all pro athlete, unbelievable person. Dr. Natasha Nelson. Doc, we're here to talk about the stress of 2020. Now I'm going to bring out, as a personal trainer, as a fitness coach and wellness coach in my own right, I kick the stress out of you. I make you feel good by kicking your butt. But there's more to it than that. The reason why I brought you on this show is like the last few shows I've had have been of a very serious nature, and it all seems to be related to the pandemic in some degree. Things have magnified, Doctor. I mean, we had an episode on domestic violence with the Genesis Center, Dr. Angela Parker. We had Stephanie Powell and Dr. Harrell Sims. We talked about sex trafficking. And man, we need to talk about how all these things have heightened and caused us stress. And not just them. We're talking about you. We're talking about me, and I'm looking at people all here on Facebook Live. And if you guys have questions for the doctor, please, let me tell you guys right now, you can call in at 323-815-4204. That's 323-815-4204. I want to make sure I got that in, because I always forget. Coach Nancy always, reminds me that, and I think she has a birthday too. Happy birthday to you too. Yes, John Romero, my wife, is a saint. So the stress has been unbelievable. Now, I went in kind of chronological order as to, like, for me, 2020, it started for me with the death of Kobe Bryant. Now, a lot of people don't know him personally. I mean, I personally had the opportunity to work with him briefly and the Lakers, and it was just an incredible experience. It hit me hard because he was so young and he had so much to do. And it wasn't so much him, the human being, and his daughter. It's just they had so much to do and so many gifts and weren't able to exact it. And then it happened. COVID-19. I mean, and everything seemed, as far as us preparing for it, once we knew about it, everything started off fine. But people started getting cabin fever. And then we had the civil unrest. And now we have this election, and I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings or anything like that. I'll try to steer away from as much as I can, but I mean, it's part of the stress, so we got to talk about it. Dr. Nelson, we've talked about stress before, but I want to talk about navigating now
Yeah.
chronic stress. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that from your perspective, and then I want to talk about what you
Okay.
went through, and then we'll go into your book. Let's talk about it. And if
Okay.
we have questions,
Let's
you
talk
can.
about stress. So I'm going to start with a statement that's controversial.
Okay, go for it.
And it's only controversial because people aren't going to like it.
I can't wait because she said some controversial stuff.
Okay. The reason people feel stressed is because they don't like what's happening. They don't like what is just what is. Yeah, Kobe Bryant passed. Well, if you don't like it, you're going to feel stressed. Yes, the COVID hit, the pandemic hit, quarantine hit, forcing us to stay in. Well, stress is because you don't like it and you wish it was different. Well, it's not different. When you accept what is, and I don't mean accepting it and keeping it the way, the rest of your life, it has to be this way, but accepting it is for the moment of what's happening. That's when you're able to say, okay, if this is what's happening, what do I need to do with it, or what do I need to do about it? So when quarantine started, the first thing without knowing anything about this virus or anything, I know that the immune system needs to be strong enough to do whatever it can do, anything.
Okay.
So I had a no baking policy in our house. I told my daughter, I said, listen, we're going to cook. We're going to do what we need to do, but we no baking, no sugar, no flour, none of this, no baking, period.
Okay.
Not a maybe, not a kind of, because I knew that sugar and no alcohol, because sugar was going to decrease our immune system. So yeah, it's not fun, and you don't have to like it, but you have to accept what is happening in the moment. Go ahead.
You're the only one that I'm going to allow to cuss on my show, because you have a saying that's pretty good that sticks with me whenever I'm going through the crap. But you'll say it a little different. Now, you talked about you went right to baking. Well, one of the chronic symptoms when you're going through a stressful time, a stressful situation, is overeating. People don't have the knowledge of you or me. How can we educate them right now on that end, since you started talking about it? And we got the whole time to talk about this. We're going to talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah.
How do we fix that?
So we start, let's be honest, okay? We know the information about whatever little information we know about the virus. As we started to get information that said if there are underlying issues, underlying conditions that weaken the immune system, that you are going to be more susceptible. As soon as that information came out, then that's where people needed to take ownership and responsibility for what they eat. Like maybe you can't go work out the way you normally do, but you can choose exactly what you eat all the time. You may not like what your options are, but that's what it is right now. And that's what I say the stress is when we're forced to stay home and we want to go live our normal life and the lifestyle what we have, but we can't. So then we say, okay, well, I'm home. Can you figure out a way to be home and make do? Read a book, do a puzzle, color, talk to the people that are in your home, journal, write, whatever you're going to do to just accept in this moment, you're supposed to be home. You have nowhere else to go.
Yes.
And when you accept it, that allows your body to just understand that's where it's at in this moment and not resist. Stress is resistance to what is.
And for my people who can't hear her on Facebook Live, go to www.morrismedialive.com. I put it on a link from my Facebook Live, friends. Just click it and you'll be able to hear, okay? And we'll rehash all of this information, okay? All right. So let's get into something. Go ahead. You go, Doc, because we do this all the time.
And as we talk about all the things that happened in this year, and we can talk about it from whether it's a political perspective or any kind of perspective, is, at the end of each day, we had to realize everything that's happening is exposing something. It's exposing what is not working, whether it's not working in your diet, whether it's not working in how you handle your money, whether it's not working in how you are in your relationships or your job. All of the things that are not working were exposed this year. So what happens when everything becomes exposed is it sucks. It sucks to see the truth of, you know what? Maybe this person I'm living with, I don't want to live with them. Well, now you got to do something about it. When the truth is exposed, you are forced to make decisions about it. And this is what 2020 was about. Everything being exposed. Everything that is working is also being exposed, and everything that is not working is being exposed. And the exposure just means you're given the opportunity to change it. That's what that's about.
But that's home life. What about what we're watching on TV? For example, let's talk about the
Okay.
presidential race. They say here's stats here. I'm on APA.org. Americans most likely to say upcoming presidential elections a significant source of stress, and it says 2016, 52% of people said they were stressed. The 2020 election, whoever you voted for or whatever, is brought along 68% of stress that was brought on. Now, I'll read a little more. Majority report of stress about election, regardless of party affiliation. 76% of Democrats say they were stressed. 67% of people who identify as Republicans were stressed, and 64% were independents. That's a lot. I mean, that's above 50%, and that's a lot of people. We're talking about 140, 50
Yeah.
million people who voted. How help me, okay? Because I'm thinking I was coming down from the stress. Help me get over that. Help us get over that. What formulas do you have? What method? We are your patients, and we need help,
Yeah.
Doc. Help
So
us.
what I would say is the stress is not about there's so many layers to when the presidential election. So part of it was, I believe, people took sides about what they felt was going to be the best direction they wanted the country to go in. Okay. But below that, it was this cancel culture that we live in, the absolute unreasonableness of accepting somebody else's different beliefs
Mm-hmm.
or different ideas, and the unwillingness to even listen to somebody who has a different opinion. That's what the stress is about. It's not who's running. It's about all of the stuff that's coming out in us as people that said, well, my neighbor has a different belief and a different, is going to vote differently from me. So we're not going to be friends. We're not going to tolerate that. We're not going to, that's the stress. As soon as you have a friend, a neighbor, somebody that you want them to have the same opinion as you, but they don't, and you don't know what to do with it. So not you personally, but people decide, well, I don't know how to handle somebody with a different opinion, so I'm going to cancel them from my life, or I don't know how to accept somebody else's differences, so I'm not going to share my different opinions. So we live in this culture where nobody talks to anybody. Nobody feels comfortable sharing with anybody. Nobody is comfortable having discussions to just say, hey, this is what I feel and why I feel it and why I might vote, why people vote for however they voted. That's what causes the stress, keeping all of that inside with nobody to share it with, because you don't trust the other person, because you don't trust if they're going to harm you. They may not like you, but there's that fear of they're going to harm you or cancel you or you're going to lose your job for it. I mean, that's where the stress is. It's not about who the candidates are. It's about your inability to talk with and feel supported by the people around you.
Well, it's a good point, and I've lived the cancel culture in both sides. I've been canceled by a few people
Yeah.
because of my thoughts, and I've canceled a few people, and not because of their viewpoint, is because it got disrespectful. I had a family member that loves his side of politics. And basically, the conversation would start off okay with stats and okay, you prove me, I'll prove you wrong. But then it would get like abrasive, and I was like, dude, I had to cancel. But that was like justified cancellation. I'm not letting anybody stress me out that much, But some people. Then I have another friend who he's grown to be one of my best friends, who has a different political belief, and we work side by side, laughing, giggling, and praying together. And I love him like a brother, That's that opposite side of the spectrum where we need to get back to where we can discuss. So the answer to that question, to fix that, because it's heated right now. It is. I mean, without getting into the details, because we can go on another show and talk about politics. How do we begin? How do we fix it? I want to be a part of the answer of solution, because I'm stressed out. There's people I haven't
So
talked
if
to.
I came up to you and started a conversation with, you know what, CJ, let's talk. We may not agree, but I just want to hear your side, but not just the stats. I want to understand why you have the belief that you have. Share with me the stories of why you believe that. And do it in a way that don't expect that I have to change my mind. Don't expect that you sharing your ideas means I have to change my mind to agree with you. I can agree with your feelings. I can agree with how you got there, your story, but I don't have to agree with your assessment or your outcome. But you have to set that intention prior to having conversations with people. So you have to know in advance, okay, if this is somebody that I can say, you know what, CJ, I'd love to be able to talk with you about politics but whatever side of how you feel or why you believe that, as long as we do so, and there's got to be some rules. The rules are you cannot cut me off and not talk to me, and you can't overpower me, and you can't expect me to believe what you believe. Like, there's got to be a ways to start a conversation with ground rules so that when you enter a conversation, you can say, hey, you know what? Now it's getting personal. You're getting mean, or you're getting rude, or it's like we need to stop now. There's got to be some ground rules in place first before you enter conversations to know if you even want to enter in a conversation with people.
So call in if you have questions. The good doctor's here. Remember, you can see her. I know we're having Facebook Live issues because of the studio issues, but you can view us on morrismedialive.com and call in at 323-815-4204. That's 323-815-4204. You know, I've tried, in talking to you before, I actually did start asking people who thought differently of me, different politically from me, because in my mind, and I'm human, how could you vote for this guy? This guy is a such and such, and they're probably thinking the same thing. But when I asked, I didn't get the answers that my stereotypical mind was, presenting myself, because we do it to ourselves. We self-damage ourselves. When that person started talking, he didn't ping on anything that I expected him or her to say. And we were able to, and I was able to say, okay, I don't agree with you, but you know what, dude, I'm glad, in my mind, quietly, I'm glad you're not that. And I still love you. And I think that's where we got to get back to. Am I on the right track, doctor?
You are. And it just comes from a place to be able to say, I may not agree with you, but at least I understand you. I understand where you're coming from, because when you relate to somebody, and to be able to say, I understand where you come from. I understand what you're sharing with me. I may not know it. I may not know what it's like to live in in that, situation. But by somebody sharing, I can say, but thank you for sharing it. Thank you for letting me know how you feel, how you think. And to be able to say, I may not agree with the choice politically you want to make because of it, but I can respect that you have your feelings. Like, we're getting caught up in people getting mad that this idea of America means you have to accept that people have different beliefs across the board of how they want to treat their body, how they want to vote, how they want to be educated, where they want to live, like what religion. That's the point, is we as Americans have lost this idea of how to accept everybody with a different idea and a different opinion, and to just be okay with it. It's not personal. Like, if anybody who voted differently from me, I don't take it personally. I just look at it as, well, they have their reasons and they chose and they voted and that was their choice. It's not personal. They didn't go to the polls and saying, I'm going to vote against Dr. Nelson and try to harm Dr. Nelson personally and try to take everything away from Dr. Nelson. No, they did not go in the polls doing that. So they don't know me. They don't know anything about me.
Exactly.
It's not personal.
So let's move to another level. Let's talk about the stress of the pandemic. Now, people have been home, and they've been forced home through their jobs, and I'm sure there's somebody watching now. And again, we'll send this whole episode out to you guys when this is all said and done, for some of you who have missed some of this, that is sitting here like, okay, you don't understand my stress, Dr. Nelson. I've been home. I'm a teacher, and I got to deal with these kids for 8-10 hours sitting in my den, and they crazy, and God bless the children. I lost my job during the pandemic, and now I'm home, and I have nowhere to go. That is chronic stress. That's chronic stress. Yes. How do you help us get through that?
How I've gone getting through it, and
Yeah.
what I share with and work with my clients is to be able to say, okay, we need to take it one day at a time of what's happening right now today. So today, whether it was in March, whether it's, here we are in November, being in a lockdown, you say, okay, this is where I'm at. I don't like it. What is happening that, am I in jeopardy right now of like losing my health or my home? You address those first. Being uncomfortable, I think as a society, we don't know how to be uncomfortable. We are so used to, and I talk a lot about addiction, we are so used to doing anything other than feeling uncomfortable. And what happened with this pandemic is people got hit in the reality of what it feels like to feel uncomfortable.
Wait. So are you
And
saying are you saying we're addicted to comfort?
yes,
Wow. Wow. Okay.
by any means possible, we want to feel comfortable, which is either food, it's leaving our homes, being busy is an addiction in itself. Being busy and having things to do. I got things to do. I got places to go. I got people to see. Well, when all of that is taken away, what you got? Your home with no sports, with people that you choose to live with that you may not like, but now you have to face them. And or you're maybe faced with the reality of you have children who might be undisciplined and they're driving you crazy, or you can't figure out how to be creative and do something with them.
Well, Doc,
And I am going to be tough on this because I've gone through it and I have to talk to myself like this too sometimes.
well, that's the reason why I brought you on. See, I like bringing people who claim to be, and I'm just teasing right now to a degree. That who claim to be, I'm a psychologist, I'm a, but now you're going through it, and I want to say, aha, I'm playing devil's advocate, but I
Yeah.
can't say aha. You are living the practice of, you're going through the same stressors. The
Yeah.
formulas might be different, and you preach this to your clientele. So, and I'm watching you go through it, and to see you smiling and going through it, and then giving me that strong advice is just amazing. And that's why I always bring credible guests
Yeah.
to my show.
Yeah. So
Uh,
one of the things I think about is, I've had to change, we change our lifestyles. I've had to change rules. So my daughter,
Change
she's
rules,
12,
like it. Okay.
and I've always had a no TV, like no device policy from Monday through Thursday through Friday noon, right? Well, when this hit, I had to just be like, you know what? F it. Like, you want to watch a device? I don't really care. It's noon on Tuesday. That's all we got. Go ahead. I had to be okay with it, knowing like, yeah, her brain's turning to mush. Yeah, it's not the ideal, but that's where we're at. And if that's what we need to do to get by, then watch TV because there's okay. But I also knew that it was short lived. Like, I canceled cable because I'm like, well, if we're going to watch things, then let's make sure it's things that are, not just total brain numbing. But I also limited and said, okay, well, can we get a book? Can we try reading a book? Can we cook? Just trying new things and being able to be mad and uncomfortable in my house with my child, and she can be mad and uncomfortable and not make it go away.
Wow.
That's the point of stress is, listen, if you're angry and if you're upset and you're scared, then feel angry and feel upset and feel scared. Don't try to drink it away or eat it away or pretend it's any different. The stress is when you're trying to resist what is going on. So whatever feelings are happening, when you resist them, that's stressful. If you just acknowledge and just say, yeah, this sucks and I feel scared or I feel, mad that I'm home, then feel it.
Doc,
Allow yourself to just feel it.
I got a Tiffany Duke. Tiffany, she says, "Hey, I'm tired of being home all day." And Diana says there was a time when your political beliefs were personal, because platforms like social media, we sometimes tend to know way more than we want to
Yes.
know about a
Yeah.
person. Those are very good
Yeah.
points, guys. Thank you, Diana. Oh, you got
Yeah.
that's brilliant. Let's shift gears a little bit more. Now let's talk about the physical. Now I'm mad because all these gyms were shut down. You know me.
Yep.
We had to transition to outside or hybrid or whatnot. But I'm angry, and I'm stressed, not so much because I wasn't able to build my business back by using creative ways. It's the fact that it seems like physical activity helps deal with stress and also helps deal with a pandemic or builds up your immune system. Not saying that's a cure. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying that
Right,
at
right.
all.
Yeah.
But all the healthy, active people I know, when they do get it, they go through it real quick, or they just don't get it all because they're healthy. How important is physical activity? And it doesn't have to be strenuous. From your perspective, because we're in the same field, what is your recommendation for being busy?
Well, even though we have to be home, there are places that if you can go walk, you walk. Let me tell you, you know how many air squats I've had to do in my living room? It's not fun. It sucks actually. Air squats and push-ups and sit-ups. That is it. That's all I got. And I did squats with a water bottle that I had a 5-gallon. I filled it up. That I don't even know how much it weighs. It's only like 10 pounds, I think.
Wow.
But that was it. And it sucks. And it was not fun. But I knew I had to do something and moving. But I also realized that this is a temporary thing. So you just do what you can do. I spent a lot more time just stretching and allowing myself to just say, you know what? This is okay. Like, okay, this is all I can get done, and accept that this is all I could get done. I would go for a walk when I could, like go for weird hours and drive into weird places and where where I could go when there's less people, like trying to figure something out. And I kind of had to laugh and kind of laughing at myself and being okay with understanding spirit, God, however you want to address the universe here, is doing it wanted this
Right,
not
right,
to
right.
punish us, to expose all of our dumb, lame things that we do all day long that fill in time, that fill in space, that are no longer of service. Like we have been filling our times with stuff that doesn't matter. And this idea of physical activity is very important. We have to get something done. But the idea, and I know you're not going to like me saying this, but there are ways to do physical activity that doesn't mean you have to be at a gym all the time.
True.
It's fun to be at a gym. We love being at the gym. I love being a trainer.
Yes.
I love being with people. I love the
Yes.
energy. But you know what? If it's not there, you have to figure out and be uncomfortable doing something else.
Well, so let's really quick, because I want to talk about your book, and we're getting pretty close. I know we got a little extended time, but okay. So explain the toxicity between inactivity, chronic stress, and the correlation between our chronic disease issues.
Yeah. So there are so many layers to it, that stress and the chronic stress is when we as people are not honoring the rhythm and what our body needs and what we should be doing. We have been living in this place of stress well before this quarantine pandemic. People are not sleeping enough, not working out enough, not eating properly. All of that was exposed by this virus and forced us to do things that required us to, relax more, sleep more, all the things that we didn't want to do. And that's what, I laugh now because I was part of it. I wanted to be out. I wanted to go have fun, but I was home. So if it meant sleep 9 hours, I'll sleep 9 hours. But the chronic stress is this ongoing day-to-day fight instead of just allowing it. And I can't stress enough allow this downtime to be downtime. Why not just allow it to just be the way it is? We knew it was going to be, I don't know anybody who really thought it was going to be 2 weeks. I mean, let's face it, we knew it was going to be at least a month. Maybe we didn't think, 9, but
Right.
we knew it was going to be a month. And in the first month, there were people who just said, well, okay, well, I'll just start with cleaning out my closets. I'll start with rearranging the house, just easing into the way things are instead of fighting it so much.
Okay.
And the more we fight, then it raises the heart rate. It interferes with our ability to sleep. It interferes with digesting food. Like all of these things just exploded with this need to fight. Like we are in fight mode. We are fighting each other. We are fighting government. We are fighting, God. We are fighting everybody and everything because we don't know what else to do.
So it sounds like we're fighting things that are out of our control. www.lifedoctor.guru. That's where you can reach her. I want to talk about some of the successes that you've had during this pandemic. Let's talk
Yeah.
about you have now. I'm an author too. I came out with a book. It's called "Navigating Through the Valleys of Success: A Perspective in Perseverance." You can get it on Amazon. You can call me and get it from your boy CJ. But you have an incredible book that you were living stress in your life before the pandemic, and you wrote
Oh,
an
yeah.
excellent memoir about yourself called "Finding the Courage to Let You Out." Okay, tell us about the book briefly. How do we get it? And so we can get more on the subject matter. But I want to make
Yeah.
sure I pump you up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So you can find it on Amazon. Finding Courage to Let You Out. Actually, no, it just says Natasha Nelson. You can buy it there. You can find it. If you go online, you can reach me. I can get it to you. Um, so I think this is part of why this pandemic has been different for me than most is I feel like what people are going through now, I went through 4 or 5 years ago. I went through my life altering crash and burn life, lost everything, lost my practice, all of my finance, my savings, my retirement funds, everything. I lost my health. And I had to find a way to accept where I was at and find a way to build back, but do it differently than what led me to just completely exhaustion, complete like collapse, complete just everything falling apart. And so when I look at this pandemic, I'm just like, oh, well, I just went through this 4 years ago. So, okay, it doesn't feel as hard because this is not new. This is just, okay, let me go with the flow. Like, this is where I'm at. This is what I got to do. Okay, well, and I lost a big contract. Um, I was about a week away from signing a big contract and everything got shut down and it's not coming back. So I had to, okay, well, okay, my whole, income for the year was gone. So I had to figure out how to do everything online and figure it out and be okay with, what God got me through 4 years ago. And okay, so I talked a lot to God every day, all day. I was like, okay, God, well, I'm here. What do you want me to do? Oh, you want me to read a book? Okay, I'll read. You want me to write? Okay, I'll write. Oh, you want me to try things online? Oh, I'll try things online. Like I just didn't panic and I just didn't get mad at the situation.
What I like
I felt uncomfortable, but I just didn't get mad at it.
what I like about bringing Dr. Nelson on is like she isn't just a person with degrees. I've watched her live it. We've watched each other through our struggles. And when I say I bring credible guests, I bring credible guests. Please, 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 if you want to find out more about Dr. Nelson, www.lifedoctor.guru. And she definitely represents that as a guru. I mean, she totally will just unravel what's going on in your brain and spiritual, physical. It is awesome. Now, as we come out of now briefly, because I have to close out in a
Yeah.
second,
Okay.
get us out of 2020 with a statement off the top of the dome, because I know you can do it.
About where we're going?
About getting out of this. Give us something positive. 2020 has got to go.
I think I think if you change your perspective and realize that whether it's next year or 5 years from now, we're going to look back on 2020 and be like, it's one of the best years. It's one of we're going to see all the greatness that comes out of this year, but we can't see it yet. And so we have to trust there are people who are working at home and behind the scenes and even in your own home that you're creating relationships. You're creating, I'm having conversations with my daughter. There are things that are seeds that are being planted right now that we have no idea what they are until we see them bloom. And it's going to be amazing. And we're going to be able to look back and go, holy cow, like, oh man, 2020 seemed so awful. And yet there are people who are changing careers and they are so excited that their job, that they got laid off, and they are so excited. So there's wonderful personal changes for everybody.
So what we got out of this is we are going to grow through this. I hope you got something. Guys, I'm sending this replay out, the complete show, so you guys can get the full effect of what just happened here. Positivity, Dr. Nelson. You can also get my book, Navigating Through the Valleys of Success, A Perspective in Perseverance. It talks about my struggle through stress, the reason why I'm dealing so well. But, it's a struggle. Listen, you can follow me on social media at CJ Functional. Hit me up at cleonjoseph.com for more on the book and more about the show, more about me. Hit up more studio for the other shows. Guys, this is what we're talking about. Next week,
Yeah.
next We'll be talking about the police community issues. I got the heat. So just stick with us, guys. Stick with us. And I know we had technical difficulties, but that's life. You guys going
That's life.
You're going to
You just roll with it.
You see
So,
me, you
and
see
I
me
would
stressing?
actually and just ask if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram. You can find me at Natasha_Life Doctor. That's Natasha NATACHA_Life Doctor spelled out. And I always have daily tidbits and stress relievers and things that you can do and things that I'm going through. So I put it all out there. I share it all with everyone.
All right. This is Mentorship Moments. Each one teach one. I told you we are the village. So glad you guys chimed in on Facebook Live. We'll have it all together in a couple of weeks. I will see you in 2. We are the village. I'm going to see y'all.
Yes, we are. All right.
2020.
Thanks, DJ.
No more.
It happened.